Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to talk to you about scammers and how to avoid wasting your time, effort, energy, and money dealing with scammers. As one of my other projects, I'm working on the launch of a new YouTube channel focused on animation. And we've been looking to hire some animators through FIVERR. And I've also had some dealings with Alibaba recently. And there is an incredible amount of scammers on both of those sites. And I think you get it on most sites where you're looking to hire somebody and exchange services for money online. It's the perfect medium for a scammer to be able to come in, pretend to be somebody that they're not, and try to take your money off you. But it's driven me absolutely crazy this week. The amount of time that I have spent dealing with people who ultimately have turned out to be not who they say they are and actually just trying to scam me. It's just driving me insane. So there's so many different telltale signs that I've now become aware of, having dealt with hundreds of these people over the last couple of weeks. And I thought it was worth posting a video, really just to give you the heads up as to what to look out for if you're looking to hire somebody or put some business out onto the internet and you want to avoid dealing with time wasters who are trying to steal money from you, because that's basically what a scammer is. It's somebody who's pretending to be something that they're not in order to take your money off you, and it drives me insane. But there's so many obvious factors that I wanted to talk you through. So let's get started on that. So when you go onto these websites, if you're not familiar with how they operate, you generally have an option of either posting a job and people will contact you, or you can look up profiles and you can contact the individuals themselves. But either way, scammers get involved. They either pick up your job and contact you and pretend to offer you something that they can't, or if you contact them, then they might look genuine, but actually they're just waiting to pounce, to draw you into their web of lies and then try to take your money off you. So there's a few easy ways to get around dealing with these people and wasting your time. I'm going to go through three key areas. The first one is the profiles of these scammers. The second one is what they say to you. The third one is how they act. So between those three elements, you will be able to work out who's a scammer. And then I'm going to give you a list of key questions that you should ask every single person that you're dealing with on the internet, whether they're a scammer or not, because genuine people will happily give you the answer to those questions. Scammers will either run a mile or you'll easily be able to work out that they don't know what they're talking about and identify them as somebody who's wasting your time. So let's get started on profile first. So generally speaking, the way these things work on both FIVERR and Alibaba, these individuals have set up a profile. They are pretending to be something that they're not. So they'll generally say, I've got all these skills, I've done all this business, I've been doing this for 10 years or something along those lines. So they'll build up a profile that isn't true, but it looks believable. And quite often they'll have copied somebody else's profile that is genuine. They may have changed it around a little bit. So at first glance, it looks like it's a good deal. You think, oh, this person's really going to suit my requirements. They are perfect. I'll give them a try. But there's a few things that you should look out for when you're dealing with them that will tell you that they might not actually be genuine. The first, most obvious one is their name. So a lot of people, when they're actually using their real business name or their actual name, will have their name and a profile picture. What you'll have with a scammer quite often is they use weird, unusual names. So either it's a name that's gobbledygook, so it might be Belush257Z or something like that, a collection of letters and numbers that don't really mean anything. It's just gobbledygook, or it looks like a word in a different language that you don't really understand. That's a telltale sign. If it's a weird name, if the profile is something weird that you think, I don't really understand what that means, why is this person not using their actual name or their business name, then that's the first indicator. A weird name is likely to be a scammer. It might not be. There might be a few people who decide to trade under XYZBB5ZTL Limited, but very unusual. If you've been involved in business, if you've ever thought about a brand name for yourself or for anything that you're involved with, you want to come up with something memorable, easy to understand, and easy to write in an email. So generally speaking, branding is important for any business. So you want something that makes sense. Something that doesn't make sense is generally a scammer. And because they're doing hundreds and hundreds of scams all at the same time, they're just picking any random collection of letters and numbers. So that's the first indicator. A weird name, an unusual profile name is probably going to be a scammer. Linked to that is the picture. So quite often on Fiverr, a lot of the scammers don't have a profile picture. They'll just have either, it'll be blank, or it'll just be the initials of the first couple of letters of what they've used as their profile name. So that's an indication. If you haven't got a real picture there or a logo, then it's probably indicating that it might not be somebody genuine. So the name is the first thing, and the profile picture. So very basic starting point. Have a look at what they're called and what the profile picture looks like. If it looks dodgy, if it looks like something you don't understand, if it's a weird picture of somebody's dog or something like that, then don't bother using that person. It's going to be a scammer. It's going to waste your time. So next on the profile list is, and this is a generic point, so doesn't apply in all situations, but have a look at the location. So on Fiverr, they tell you where that individual is based, what country they're from. Now, that can be an indication. In my experience, in the last couple of weeks, I've found a lot of scammers from the same countries. And I've been dealing with animation, so it's media. When you see somebody from a country that doesn't usually get involved in what you're doing, then it might be a warning sign that this might not be a genuine person. So just a small point, and just have a look at location. Do you think that that person is a specialist in whatever you're doing from that country? Is it something that that country is known for being good at? The next point is the reviews. So obviously on Fiverr and Alibaba, you want to pick somebody who's done business and has reviews. So on Fiverr, when you go on, it tells you how many jobs that individual has done, and it tells you how many reviews they've got. So ideally, pick somebody who's had lots of jobs and lots of reviews, because you know that they're genuine. But it's difficult because the good people are quite often busy. It's hard to find somebody. So therefore, you have to start looking at the lower level sellers and people who maybe don't have many reviews. And everybody claims to be new to the site, and I've just launched my business, and this is my first time on Fiverr, and all these other lies that scammers will tell you. So have a look. And if they've got maybe a small number of reviews, have a look at them, and they will tell you whether it's a genuine person or not. So a genuine review will generally have quite a lot of detail in it. So it might be 10 or 15 lines of information, somebody explaining what the job was, how they found that person, what the pros and cons were, what the good stuff was, what the bad stuff was. And quite often the actual seller themselves, so the person you're dealing with, will respond to that saying, thank you very much, or it was a pleasure dealing with you, or picking up on a point that they raised that was negative to say, well, the reason that happened was this. That's all giving you an indication that that person's genuine. When all of the reviews are generic 3-word, 4-word, 1-line sentences saying this person is good, or very happy, or yes, I was pleased, that is likely to be a scammer. And also those reviews usually come all at the same time. So when you look at the profile of reviews, if a genuine review, there might be 10 reviews over a 2-year period. For the scammers, there'll be 3 or 4 reviews all at the same time. So they'll all be 1 month ago, 2 months ago, whatever the time frame is. So they've done it themselves. They've basically gone on, they've set up some fake profiles, and they've reviewed themselves from different machines, and it just doesn't stack up. So the reviews do tell you a lot. The next point on the profile is the grammar and the spelling. So in my experience, a lot of scammers are very bad at grammar and spelling. So there will be lots of typos. The grammar doesn't make sense. It's broken English or whatever language you're looking at. It doesn't really stack up. Now, that might be just because the person is typing in their second language. So you can give them the benefit of the doubt. And the problem with scammers is if you're a nice person, if you're a good person, you generally feel that, oh, maybe I'm being a bit harsh and it's a bit unfair because it isn't their first language. But actually, in my experience, good people take the effort and time to do a spell check, to actually look at the grammar. There's lots and lots of software out there that will do a quick check on something for you, even if it's not your first language. A scammer can't be bothered doing that. They'll just bosh up something. They don't care. And so if you're seeing a lot of grammatical errors, a lot of typos, things that don't really make sense, that's telling you it's a scammer, and don't waste your time dealing with them. And the final point in terms of profile is how long they've been on that site. So the genuine people, the really good people on FIVERR and Alibaba have been on there for quite a long time. So it might be a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. They'll have a profile, a long-standing profile. The scammers will have a recent profile, so they will have launched it very recently. But when you ask them about that, they'll say, oh, there was a problem with my account and I had to close it and open a new account. Or I've only just joined FIVERR or Alibaba. This is my first time. Please help me. I really appreciate your business. All of those lies. So if they're a new entrant to that particular platform, then there is a possibility, a very strong possibility, that they are a scammer. You can find out through some of the questions we'll go on to and the other ways of looking to see whether they're scammers, whether they are genuine, because there are some good new people coming onto FIVERR. So I'm not saying absolutely everybody is a scammer, but the vast majority of new profiles on FIVERR and Alibaba are trying to scam you and rip you off and take your money off you. So if it's a new profile, be very cautious. It is probably a scammer. So the next factor that we're going to discuss is how they act, how the scammers actually act when you engage with them. So in my example, I've been looking to hire some animators. So it's a really competitive market and the good people are really busy. So what I tend to find is that if I find somebody and they've got 50 reviews and they've done a lot of business, when I contact them, so I send them a message saying, hi, got a new project, looking to hire somebody, would you be interested? Firstly, they take some time to come back. So it might be a few hours, it might be a day, it could be a couple of days before they respond to me because they're busy, they're doing things, and they will get round to doing their admin at some point, but they're not generally sitting at their PC waiting to respond to you. When you contact a scammer, generally you get a response super quick. So I'll send a message saying I'm looking to hire an animator, and they'll come back to me within a minute or 5 minutes. You get a response super quick. Now, that might be just coincidence that, they could just be at their PC when you send it. But in my experience, the people who respond really quickly are less genuine. They are the scammers. The scammers are genuinely just sitting at their PC, scamming people all day. That's their business. That's what they're doing. That's how they're making their money. So when your message pops up, they jump on it quickly and respond and come back to you straight away. And the problem with that for you is if you're sending a lot of messages out and you're not getting any responses, when you do get somebody respond, it's quite exciting and you think, oh, fantastic. I've got some engagement. I've got somebody who wants to do it. So you're already open-minded, and the scammers know that, and they try to lock onto you and lock onto a deal quickly. So if they respond quickly, be cautious. It could be a scammer. Scammers do respond very quickly to messages. Busy people don't respond as quickly. They take more time to come back to you. The other way that the scammers act is that they're overly friendly and overly keen to win your business. So they will say, how are you, sir? Lovely to meet you. I can do your business. I can help you. I can do it. So before you've even told them what you want to do, they're already saying they can do it, which isn't the way people in business operate. People in business ask you what it is you're looking for. They consider it, and then they come back with a considered response. They don't say, I can do it, sir. When do you want it? What is your budget? And that's a genuine question that you'll get from scammers. As soon as you say, hi, how are you? I'm interested in this. They will come back and say, what is your budget? And the reason they're asking you that is they want to take the maximum amount of money off you. So if you say your budget is $100 or on a different job, it might be $1,000, then they will have that as the target that they're looking to take from you. So they want to know from you what's your budget so that they don't undershoot. They don't want to tell you that the price is $100 if they can take $1,000 off you. So they need to know from you what's your budget, and then they'll say, yes, I can do it. I can get that budget. I can deliver that. So be very cautious when somebody starts talking about what's your budget, and I can do it very quickly without getting into any of your detail, because that's not how people in business work. That's not how I operate. If I'm dealing with somebody offering a service, I want to know all the detail before I give them a price and say I can do it. I don't say, yes, I can do it. What is it that you need? So in terms of what they say, generally the scammer is looking to close the deal irrespective of what the deal is. They don't care what the deal is and what the business is. They just want to get you to agree to it and pay some money across. So they will start very, very friendly. How are you, sir? How are you today? I can help you. Yes, sir. You've picked the right person. I'm very good at this. I can do it. Generally overly selling themselves before they even know what the job is. They'll say, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm very qualified. Yes, yes, yes. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. So generally not wanting to talk detail, but getting to close out the deal as soon as possible. So the other things that they say, yes, sir, I can do it. I'm very qualified. This is my job. I'm an expert. I do this all the time. Very passive aggressive, generally saying, sorry, sir, why are you questioning me? I can do this. You've seen my profile. You've maybe seen my example video that's fabricated, that I stole from somebody else. So generally passive aggressive, making you feel that you're asking questions for the wrong reason and feeling guilty that you're questioning their credibility. But the main thing is the price. So they will offer you a price, whatever that price is, and it might be high or it might be low. So it's not always the case that scammers offer you a super cheap deal. Quite a lot of them do. So if you get a really low price, if you see a price that looks completely off market, so maybe all the other people in the market are saying they'll do your job for $500, that sort of level, and you find a guy who's pitching and he's saying he's going to do it for $50. Now, that's too good to be true. And I know everybody's looking for a deal, and it's tempting to think, yeah, wouldn't that be a fantastic outcome? Look how much more profit I could make if I could get it for $50 rather than $500. But fundamentally, you know, if somebody's offering it to you for 10 times less or half or whatever the difference is, then generally speaking, that doesn't make sense. People know what the market is. You can see on Fiverr, the other providers can see what the market price is, what people are offering their services for. So there might be a discount if somebody's new to the market, but it won't be 10 times. You won't get something 10 times cheaper. So it gives you that red flag. It tells you that it's probably not going to be genuine. So the price is a very important factor. So low prices generally mean be careful. But actually the scammers are quite sophisticated. So they will offer you the market price because that gives them more credibility. There's an argument to say that the higher the price, the more credible they are. So in that example where the market's 500, they might come in at 750 and you think, wow, that's expensive. And they'll say, yes, sir, but I'm super good and I can do this and, you know, I'm better than the rest of them. And you start believing it. You start thinking, well, actually, maybe it is worth extra because that guy is good and I've seen his video. But you'll be able to flush it out, and we'll come on to that in a second in terms of what questions to ask. But the other concerning factor with pricing and payment is that quite often these scammers will want to have a private discussion with you outside of the platform. So whether it be Fiverr or Alibaba, these guys might say to you, sir, you can email me, or you can find me, or give me your phone number and I will contact you and we can do a side deal. We can do a separate deal outside of the protection of Fiverr and Alibaba. So if you stay on those platforms and something goes wrong, you have got a possibility of getting your money back. You can make a complaint. You can hopefully get a refund from one of those providers. As soon as you go off-piste, as soon as you go into a private discussion, then you'll find that you've got no protection. So on Alibaba, you'll find that a lot of the people, when you're on there, if you're using your phone, they'll be able to find your phone number, and all of a sudden you'll get a WhatsApp message directly on your phone from that person saying, hello, sir, let me talk. I can do this deal. Please send me a money transfer to this account. And do not do that. Never, ever do that, because you'll never see that money again. That is a classic scammer tactic. Take you out of the platform, take you onto a private message system, and then ask you to transfer money in advance of making or doing whatever they're doing. And then basically you'll never see that money again, and you'll never hear from that scammer again. They'll just block you immediately. So don't do that. So that's a big warning sign. So, okay, so we've been through the profile, we've been through how they say things and what they say. So now we're going to come on to the questions that you need to ask to flush out those scammers. And it's pretty simple stuff. It's basically due diligence that you would do with any other form of work. If you were going to hire somebody for your job, whatever it is, you'd always ask questions about people's experience, what they've done, examples of their previous work, and that's exactly what you need to do here. You need to engage with those scammers and start talking to them about the actual business, because I'll guarantee they don't know as much as you do about whatever it is you're talking about. So the first question to ask, very simple, very easy. Engage with them in the same way that you would engage with any person you're dealing with. So just ask them, what is your name? So if their profile's XYZ12345 limited or whatever it is, just say, hi, what is your name? Now they might respond to that by saying, oh, my name's Dave or Brian or something like that. Or they might not, they might just ignore it and try and evade the question. But generally they don't like to get down to a personal level and talk as if you would talk to a normal person. So ask them what the name is. That quite often they won't respond to that, or they won't want to engage with you, or they'll just stop messaging you because they don't want to get flushed out. The next question to ask them is, where are you from? So just like a normal discussion, just like a chat, where are you from? So on Fiverr, it tells you the countries that the people are located in. So I specifically picked out the US and the UK because I know those two areas very well. And I was getting a lot of scammers from elsewhere. And I thought, well, there's less scammers from these areas, but there's still quite a lot of scammers. So I picked the guy from the UK. His name was Larry, or his pretend name was Larry. He had a profile picture of somebody who looked like he could be called Larry. So the guy came on. Hello, sir. How are you, sir? Yes, sir. I can help, sir. I can do your job, sir. What is your budget, sir? All these questions. Not the sort of English I would expect from somebody from England. I'm from England. That's not how we speak to each other. So I said, hi, how you doing? What's your name? My name is Larry, sir. You saw that in my profile, sir. That's not how Larry would respond if he was English. That is not how I would respond to somebody who said, what's your name to me? Certainly wouldn't use sir, certainly wouldn't use that type of phraseology. So I then said, where are you from, Larry? Meaning, where in England are you from? He said, I'm from England. You see in my profile, sir. So that's telling me he's not from England because he hasn't answered my question. I then said, where in England are you from? I'm from London, sir. Very generic. You know, anybody could make that up. So I already knew he was a scammer. So I basically blocked him. And that was the end of that. But the next level of questions is, okay, how long have you been doing this business? And they'll tell you, they'll make up a number, 5 years, 10 years, 1 year, whatever it might be. And then ask them, do you have a social media account I can check out? Because anybody who's selling their services on Fiverr or Alibaba generally will have some form of social media account. So they might have a YouTube channel, they might have an Instagram channel, they might have TikTok, they might have something where they're using it to promote their services and their business, if they're genuine. If they're a scammer, obviously they won't have any of that. And that's one of the things that you can do to really check out if somebody's real. Have a look at their name, have a look at their profile, type it into Google. If they're genuine, you will find them. They will come up on Instagram or on some form of other platform where they're advertising their business. Because if you're promoting your brand and your business and you want people to find you, then you'll be able to find them on the internet. If you're a scammer, then obviously it's impossible. So ask them, do you have a social media account? Can I check out some of your other work? And they'll avoid that question and you'll know that they're a scammer. So the next question to ask them is, can you please explain how your system works, how your business operates, how you do things? And what you want from someone who's genuine, they'll tell you, they'll say, yes, I've got a small studio, I've got 2 people I work with, I do this on my own, whatever it might be. They'll give you an explanation as to how they came about. So they might say, I used to work for this big corporation, but now I work for myself and I do this, and I get most of my business from Fiverr or whatever it is. They'll engage with you like a normal person would. They talk to you about their business, how it works, and how they're going to do whatever it is you've asked them to do. They'll say, yes, for your business, I would look at X, Y, Z, and this is how I do it. So just a normal response from a normal business person. From a scammer, when you ask them, how does it work? They'll say, you've seen my profile, sir. What do you want? What's your budget? Can you send me your brief? Why are you asking me this? Do you not believe me? Do you not trust me? Very passive aggressive language where they'll put it back on you as if you're in the wrong for asking them the question rather than giving you the information. So that's a telltale sign. If they refuse to answer, how's your business structured? How does it work? What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? Then you know they're not going to do it. They're a scammer. They're making it up. So just block them immediately. And the final thing to ask them, and this is usually the absolute killer, is can you send me an example of previous work that you've done? Now, a scammer won't do that. A genuine person will say, yeah, not a problem, and they'll ping you over whatever it is you're dealing with them on. They'll send you, a file or a link or a video or something straight away, not a problem. And generally, that really helps you because you'll see something else they've done, some other people's work, and think, yeah, this is great. This is the sort of thing I want to do. A scammer won't do that. They will say, you've seen my profile, sir. Check out my profile. You've seen my video. Generally, that's a video they've stolen from somewhere else or somebody else, or, they picked it up off the internet. So they don't really want to send it to you because it will expose it. It's the same thing. So you want to see something different. So you'll say, no, I don't want to see the one you've already posted on your profile. Send me another one of something you've worked on recently. They won't want to do it. They will refuse to do it. Generally might get passive aggressive. Why are you asking me this, sir? Do you not believe me? I'm very qualified. I can do the job. What's your budget? All those sort of things. So asking for an example of work, if it's a genuine person, you'll get it. It'll be great. If it's a scammer, no chance. You won't get it, and you'll know that not to proceed with them any further. So that's my experience of dealing with scammers this week. Hopefully that's given you a flavour as to how to flush out the scammers. It is difficult because some of them are very sophisticated. Some of them are quite believable. It is hard because you want to find people, you want to believe what they're saying. You generally give them the benefit of the doubt. But overall, there's some easy ways to spot it. Check out their profile. Generally, they won't have a picture. Their name won't be correct. They'll have typos. There'll be spelling mistakes in there. It just won't look believable when you start reading it for a second time. They won't have any genuine reviews. They won't have any way of proving what they do. They won't have any examples. They won't want to talk to you about their name, where they're located, where they're from, what they do, and how they do it. So all of those things is what you would do in your normal due diligence when you're checking out somebody can do the job you're going to hire them to do. But the bottom line on all of this is one thing I want to leave you with. Never, ever, ever go outside of the platforms and agree to make a payment to somebody because you will never get your money back. If you pay somebody through FIVERR or Alibaba and they prove to be a scammer, then you've got a chance of recovering that. You should be able to get it back from those people at some point if you've done everything correctly. But never, ever pay people directly on a transfer to their account or international transfers because you'll never see that money again and you will live to regret it. Hopefully that's been useful. Hopefully I'm sharing my experience and it's going to help you to avoid having to waste your time, energy, effort and money dealing with these people. They are annoying, but they're always going to be here. They're going to be around. It's a massive business, big industry, scamming. We can't avoid it, but we can check out who they are, what they're doing, and avoid wasting time dealing with them. Thanks for watching. If you've liked what I've said, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Thank you.